If I see thumbnails where you give them red eyes, I will hound you until the end of the earth. I'm just gonna throw that out there now.
Skeleton Crew, what a boring show. This is something that does not feel like Star Wars at all, and there's a lot of problems with this show that the Disney shills seem to be overlooking. First of all, kids in the Star Wars universe pretending to be Jedi, playing around and acting like middle-aged men used to act when they were little kids after watching Star Wars. That is way too meta. It does not work. It is not something that should be on screen. And a lot of the idiots who defend this show will say, well, it's for kids. Well, I hate to break it to you, but most kids don't care about Star Wars at all. They do not watch Star Wars. They don't watch anything on Disney Plus. Especially kids around the same age as the kids in this show, 12-year-olds. What the fuck do you think they're doing all day? They're not watching this shit. The only way a child is watching this show is if their parents are paying for Disney Plus and watching the show with them. But the only way an adult is going to pay for Disney Plus is if they think there's something on there that's actually worth watching. And the majority of people have moved on to a lot better things than Disney are producing. Why would an adult pay for Disney Plus when there's nothing on there that they want to watch? They're not going to pay for it for their kids. Their kids are just going to watch YouTube all day for free. Kids don't watch TV shows like they used to. The only people watching these shows on Disney Plus are adults. And I know some people have said the show is meant to capture a new generation of Star Wars fans, but that's not going to work because these kids aren't watching Disney Plus. And the sequels were supposed to do that. They were supposed to capture the next generation and they failed. And it is very clear to me that the majority of people you see online, especially on YouTube, reacting to this show, have no clue what kids are like in real life. These adult children who react to this show, man babies, they're able to relate to these children because these are children written by men in their late 30s who are writing these kids how they were when they were kids. Playing with each other, pretending to be Jedi, wanting to go on adventures, riding their bikes around. Kids aren't doing that shit. They're playing fucking Fortnite. And this story, it could be told, but it's not something worth spending hundreds of millions of dollars on. This is the kind of story that should be relegated to a comic book or a novel. Not wasting money and everyone's time telling a pointless story that's not going to add anything to Disney Star Wars. Where's the story about the Imperial Remnants? Where's the story about the rise of the First Order? Where are the stories about Luke, Han, and Leia? Where are the stories about Ben Solo? What was the point of making Kenobi, or Book of Boba Fett, or wasting over $300 million on The Acolyte, or spending hundreds of millions of dollars on Andor? Stop just giving anyone the chance to tell whatever fucking story they want. All it has ever done is ruin the brand that is Star Wars. They need to stop trying to make Star Wars the MCU, because it fucking isn't. They should have been spending all of this money, all of these shows, all of this time. It should have been expanding the post-Rise of Skywalker era and also setting up the sequels, which they have failed to do. They're only just now getting to that with the Mandalorian and Grogu film. Real Star Wars fans understand that this show means nothing. It may be targeted towards children, but the children are not there. There is not an audience of kids watching Star Wars projects. And the shills are all saying the same thing. Oh, it feels like Goonies. It feels like Fuck off. You know what it doesn't feel like? Star Wars, and that's what's important. And one of the worst things about Disney Star Wars is how self-referential it has gotten. People were saying that the opening shot to episode 1 was like the opening to A New Hope, as if that's a good thing. But all it does is just make this seem more pathetic. I can't stress this enough. Kids are not watching this show. Kids are not watching Star Wars. Kids are not watching anything on Disney Plus because there's nothing on Disney Plus that their parents would want to watch. And that is the only way a kid would watch something on Disney Plus, is if their parents were paying for it. And the only way their parents are paying for it is if they think there's something there worth watching, which there isn't. The only losers watching anything produced by Disney are the shills who react to it and their stupid fans who have no critical thinking skills and low standards. And if you like this show, you're just a fake Star Wars fan because you're a fan of Disney Star Wars, which is fake Star Wars. It's not real Star Wars. And if you're a fan of something that is not real Star Wars, then you're not a real fan. Real fans have standards. Real fans are critical of the things they like. Fake fans are just going to like it because it's Star Wars and they're fans of Star Wars apparently. That's how you spot a fake fucking fan. They act like if you're a fan of Star Wars, then you must like everything that is remotely associated with Star Wars. They are so pathetic. They're gonna spend hours playing Star Wars Outlaws, a game that fucking sucks. It's a pile of garbage made by Ubisoft, the people who can't make a good game to save their fucking lives. And they're gonna hype up this dumb show made by adult children for adult children. It's too bad that John Watts is the guy who got to make whatever show he wanted, thanks to the fact that he went to college with a lot of people who work at Lucasfilm and he's friends with Jon Favreau. If only someone else who had better ideas also had those kinds of connections at Lucasfilm, then maybe they would be telling stories that are actually worth being told. But instead the Disney fans are stuck with this slop and they're gonna eat it up because they are fed shit and they love it. They constantly praise the bare minimum as the most amazing thing ever. And that's why Disney Star Wars is never gonna fucking change, because they know that they don't have to put any fucking effort into it because their dedicated fan base will love it regardless of how bad it is, and they'll defend it relentlessly and label all the critics as bigoted and spread lies about real Star Wars fans, because the Disney shills, the Disney fans, are degenerate fucking cunts. They are pieces of shit. And half of the Disney shills are either sex workers or literal cucks. Are these the people you want to be listening to? These people have no spines and they'll do anything for money, resorting to sex work like a bunch of whores, or lying through their teeth and praising every single thing Disney does in hopes of getting invited to premieres or getting sent gift bags from Lucasfilm. And the shills have been online saying, wow, I haven't seen any hate for this show. It's because no one gives a fuck anymore. No one cares about Disney Star Wars anymore. And then they might hear that and say, well, good, we don't want you here. But it's not just us, the real fans. It's also the general audience. They're not showing up either. Do any of you who liked the show really think it's going to bring any subscribers to Disney Plus? Do you think this show is selling the platform to people? It isn't. Disney have completely dropped the ball with their version of Star Wars, and it's never going to get any better, guys. If you're a fan of this shit, you should want more from Disney. Raise your standards. You should want them to expand on the story that they've told with the sequels, not waste time and money on shit like this. And the shills are saying, oh, it's like an 8 out of 10, it's like a 9 out of 10. That's how you know their standards are way too low. The actual plot and story and the characters, it's like a 5 out of 10 at best. Same with something like Ahsoka, which a lot of people who shill for Disney said was like one of the best things Disney had ever made. At best, it's a 5 out of 10. And this is probably going to be the only video I make about this show. It's way too boring, there's nothing worth talking about. And this video wasn't even really about the show. It was about how stupid the fake fans are. Alright, I'm out of here. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.